Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Kat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts?
Addicts, aficionados?
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of TV My Husband Hates. How you doing, Kat? You hanging in there?
Do you know what? I'm hanging in there. I'm doing fine. I think I've sort of come to, I feel a bit like somebody on death row. And they kind of talk about how once they get onto death row, there's just this sort of calm, like it's done. And I feel like that's me. Like I'm just comfortable now with the fact that this is it. This is as bad as it gets, and I just have to be okay with it.
Right. Fair enough.
And actually we're muddling along quite fine. It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
But we're just getting through it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Nice.
Thank God for reality TV. Thank God for Bridgerton. Thank God for all the documentaries I've been watching. Thank God for Married at First Sight. All of this stuff. Thank God.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about movies coming direct to TV because we've got a lot of them now. Like if you have HBO Max, they just stream directly to HBO Max, and there's a serial killer one coming out with Jared Leto as the serial killer, and I am so excited about that, and I cannot fucking think of the name of it. It's escaped me right now. I think it's like Little Things, or it's Little Things something. But it looks incredible, and it's coming out soon. So I'm excited to be able to stream movies. But I'm also a little sad because I feel like we may see the death of the theater, like the movie theater, within our lifetime. This scares me a little bit.
It is called The Little Things.
The Little
You're
Things.
Right. And it's got Rami Malek in it as well.
Yeah.
I love him. And Denzel.
Oh yeah, Denzel's like the cop.
No,
Looks
I'm upset.
amazing.
I think you might be right. I worry that you might be right. I think. Although, I feel like maybe it's like the theatre. I was saying this to Jimmy the other day. I was like, the great thing, I know it's shit that he's not working at all right now, but at least we know that when he can work, he will work. That industry will bounce back. Live music will always come back.
Well, I think there will always be a market for movies. I just don't know if the theater experience is what it used to be to get people to go there. We've got some really cool theaters called the Alamo Drafthouse where they serve food and they do fun stuff around it. I could see them surviving, but I think just your typical movie theater, honestly, I'm way more comfortable watching movies at my house.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I would
go
to the big screen, especially for those big movies, the ones that you really want to see on a big screen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope not, but
yeah.
Who knows what post-COVID globe is going to look like?
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, we'll see.
We'll see. We've got 5 shows this week because we lost OC. We'll be doing
Thank
the reunion
goodness.
when that comes up. Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, it's only a 2-episode reunion, so it should actually be next week. So we'll be finished with it next week.
Good to know. I'll get on that then. And in the meantime, we've just got, and we're also wrapping up Southern Charm this week. That finished.
We are.
Finally.
They're going to have a 2-episode reunion as well, so we'll have that to look forward to. That reunion is going to be interesting. Yeah.
I'm excited. I've really, really enjoyed Southern Charm this season.
I'm glad we've added it to the lineup because it's long been one of my favorite shows, and I can't fucking big up the production company that does it on how they handle it. In my favorite way, and Black Lives Matter has been dealt with in a show.
Me too, hands down. And I think obviously they had, I guess everybody has a responsibility to do it, but being in Charleston, I think it was always going to be way more central. And then the storyline itself with Catherine being a Calhoun and getting herself in all of that shit. Such an interesting insight into what it was like to deal with that stuff in such a much more polarized society than we live in. Charleston is more polarized.
For sure.
Of course
it is.
And it's really interesting. Anyway, we're going to talk about something.
Yeah.
We're doing it all ass backwards at the moment.
We are. Yeah.
But let's start. Let's start off with Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we've talked a lot about how we really struggled with last season. Like, this episode didn't inspire me with any confidence, but let's do our best. Let's chat about what happened. There were a few interesting things. I mean, I think it's really interesting to talk about Kandi and her situation with her ex and Riley's dad.
For sure. I wanted to strangle that woman who's like working in the background of her house that was just like, well, but monetarily you're fine. So why are you going after him? Like, I don't like, I feel like women who go after their exes or, the father of their children for child support are somehow like, if they're wealthy, that they shouldn't be doing it because they're fine, or even like they shouldn't be doing that at all. Like that men don't have a responsibility to take care of their children. I don't know.
Well, unless
really makes me mad.
But they're both wealthy. Like,
yeah.
It's not like Candy's
I don't know if
money he doesn't have.
I don't know if he is still wealthy. Like she said in the show, he's had moments where he has been very wealthy. He never gave any money at that point either.
Yeah, I mean, the point is she has brought this child up. She's looked after her. She's fed her. She's clothed her. And yes, she's had the money to do it. But it's not about the money.
No.
It's like, if you weren't there to fucking kiss the boo-boos and cuddle them after nightmares and help them through their first breakup, then the very fucking least you can do is meet your responsibility on a financial level.
I mean, let's be real. Kids are a financial responsibility. Yeah. We all have to pay for our kids. Like, it's just the way it is. And whether you're still together or not, you still have that responsibility to that child. And I don't know. I didn't like that another woman was saying that to her. Like, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Like,
because it misses the point, but it's also it's a really dangerous precedent to set that men don't have to be he in no way has shown any fatherly responsibility.
No.
And for her to suggest that is okay,
right, is not okay.
Is not okay. And I was blown away by that. I'm surprised Kandi didn't smash her in the face.
I wonder if that girl got fired. Like, it seems to me that Kandi would not fucking deal with that kind of mindset in her house. She does not seem like that type of person to be cool with that. Even if it wasn't about her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
totally. This coddling of the men in this situation is just disgusting. It's disgusting.
Sure.
Why is she protecting him so? Like,
no reason to.
Bad.
Yeah, no reason to whatsoever. He's a shit dad. He was a shit dad.
Well,
of course
also,
he does.
Let's be clear. This isn't money for Kandi. Kandi isn't asking for this money because she wants to take it and go to fucking Cabo and buy a ton of designer shit. She can do that anyway.
Yeah.
She's asking for this money for Riley.
Yeah, I think she said she's going to put it in a trust or just do something. I'll pay for
it.
college. Like,
buy
who the
a
fuck
house
cares?
For her. I don't care.
No.
Give it to Riley and let her blow out on fucking coke and hookers. I don't give a shit. It's just not his. He needs to give her the fun. He needs to give her the fucking money.
Yeah, it's his responsibility. He was there when she was conceived, so therefore, he needs to pull his weight.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
So yeah, Kandi, and then also we get Kandi working really, really hard on this food drive. And I have to say, I really respect Kandi. I'm really disappointed with the lack of, I guess, and maybe this is unfair, but I imagine that if they were doing it, it would definitely be on the TV. I'm really disappointed with the lack of action, drive from a lot of these women that we are seeing. Like, I see Kandi doing something really, really positive. Obviously, we see Portia doing something really positive, using these platforms to do something good.
Yeah.
I just feel that the other women could be doing more.
Well, and I don't even just feel like it's Atlanta. Like, the OC could have been like raising money and doing food drives. Dallas could, I mean, maybe they have and we're just not there yet with Dallas, but I think you're right. I feel like, I mean, Atlanta has been the most activist group of housewives, and it's really only two of them doing shit.
Yeah.
It's really, it's just disappointing kind of across the whole like Bravo universe or whatever that we're not seeing more people use their platforms for positive things or to like raise money or help others.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more.
I don't know.
But this drive is great. Candy's doing amazing. To be feeding like 749 people. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Well,
doing an amazing
getting
job.
Ace involved, and I mean, I think that's really important. I think it's more important, honestly. The richer your parents are, I think the more important it is that you get involved in giving back and giving your time and seeing, other ways of living, because I think you can be in a bubble real quick. I mean, especially now as we're all having to live in the bubbles of our homes. Like, I think we're all being disconnected, and I think it's great that she's giving back and she's got her kids involved and
she gets the girls
friends are involved. Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody turns
Some more
up.
than others.
Kenya turns up, takes control, and then starts being a twat to everybody.
I wish she hadn't turned up. She's such a tick.
I know, don't turn up with such a bee in your bonnet. Like, don't turn up and be a miserable cowback. She insulted, obviously, Portia. Then,
right.
Hang on.
Being completely insensitive to the situation she's going through with her baby daddy, while Kenya is also dealing with a lot of shit going with her ex-husband. It's like, you think she'd get over petty bullshit. Yeah, and be like empathetic. And actually, we have something we can connect on now. Like, let's try to do that. Portia's growing up a little bit. Let's connect on that. But she's just a dick.
Because she's so insecure that she sees Portia doing everything really maturely and really honestly and authentically, and she has to come and undermine it. Anybody that does something that shows Kenya up to be the kind of apathetic, self-absorbed little cowbag that she is, she just has to go in on. And so
I think you can take it even further. Like, you know how she's always like, she's brought like Toya into the group for whatever reason, but like she's picking on Cynthia about Drew. That's like, Drew has a fucking heat. Like, she's part of the show, asshole.
It's ridiculous. And then also Marlo gives a donation of $5,000. And she can't just be like, wow, that's cool. She's like, oh, which sugar daddy did she get to pay for that? It's like, fuck off. Just go and sit in a vat of your own fucking poison and just don't bother the rest of us with it, because it's so unnecessary and it's so embarrassing to watch a woman of that age behave like that.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yes.
Do better. There's bigger fucking things going on in the world, Kenya, right now. Like, you've got bigger things going on in the world right now.
For sure.
Leave everybody else the fuck alone.
Yeah, I don't know what her fucking problem is. She's obnoxious. I'm really like over her, and it's almost to the point where it's like I almost don't want to watch the show because I don't want to deal with her.
I have to say, it's not a show I sit down and relish. Like, I'm like, oh, I've got to watch Atlanta.
Yeah, it's on Sunday nights here too, so it's almost like it's like the very first. I mean, obviously it's the first one, so it's like, nah, let's just get this over with.
Yeah. Speaking of Portia, we get a little bit more of the tea around what happened between her and Dennis. And I thought this was really, really interesting. I said to you in the meeting we had beforehand, she said something that really resonated with me. Not that Jimmy's ever cheated, but like, I think it's really easy for us to get into the habit of treating people, our kind of partners, badly. And she said, even though I got over the cheating, I couldn't get out of the habit of punishing him. And I was like, oh, that felt so, I guess, like a moment, because even though we're good now, pre-therapy, when we were on the fucking downers, I was just hanging on to shit. Like, I just kept treating him like he was the guy that he used to be. And the resentment meant that everything was infected with kind of negative energy and attitude. And I was like, that's such a great way of putting it. And I love hearing Portia say, the way Portia talks now, compared to the way that she spoke.
She was with Cordell.
It's like two different people.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring to watch.
For sure. I mean, I like that she said, like, she bit to the point that there was nothing left. Like, you guys obviously got therapy and were able to, like, mend some of those resentments and work through those, but she's just like it's done. Like, all that. And I also really like I really like seeing Portia become self-aware, and I feel like that's what we've seen through all these episodes of Atlanta, is just like her growth and her kind of finally coming to her own. And I think it was interesting where she's like, I kind of lost myself there for a minute, like with Dennis, and now I'm getting myself back, and it feels good. And I don't know, it's nice to see that. Like, she's gonna be fine.
It's really difficult, but really kind of mature to be to recognize that you can be with somebody who you love but is not good for you. Yeah. Doesn't bring out the best in you, or doesn't force you to be your best self. And I think that's what she's done. She loves Dennis as
co-parent,
dad,
yeah,
and as a co-parent. But to be able to recognize that as a couple, they're not as good for each other, then I think that shows real fucking maturity. I mean, she's rapidly standing out to me as the most mature housewife, the smartest housewife on this show.
Yeah, I think
excluding Candy, but,
for sure.
But all the others are just hot messes compared to these two.
I totally agree with you on that one. And I like them both. I like both Candy and Portia. I think they do good for other people. I think they're humble about where they've gotten to and where they've come from. And I think it's just I think Candy's always been pretty steady, that solid, grounded person. And I've always really liked that role for her in her show. And I like watching Portia's journey, but the rest of these ladies, I could give two fucks. Even Cynthia, who I do like, but I'm just come on.
It just feels a bit tired and old
this
with
whole
Cynthia.
This whole conversation about her dad coming to the wedding, her mom, I know her mom has been through a lot of stuff, and I don't want to diminish that in any way, shape, or form, but her mom was kind of an asshole to her through this conversation.
I'm with you. I get that her mom has obviously the right to not be in a room with a man who abused her. I get that. But I don't like the emotional blackmail that's being involved here. I don't like the way she's I did this, I've been there for you. Cynthia still has a dad. And Cynthia's relationship, and Mal still has a relationship with her dad. And I just think it's really unfair to put children, no matter how fucking old they are, in that position. I think it would be different if he hadn't beaten her. I'd be like, you know what? You're the adults, you're the parents. You need to get over it and be in the same room.
For sure, it definitely makes it tricky.
It definitely makes it trickier, but I just think it could have been handled in a way. And maybe she was triggered and just lashing out. I don't know. But what I do know is that Noelle, needs to check herself a little bit.
She needs to shut her fucking mouth. This is not your level. You are not at this family level yet. You are, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You are still the kid in this triad relationship. I know things were strained with your mom, and your grandma took care of you, and you feel very protective of her. Fine. But you let your mom and your grandma deal with this. You are not the voice of reason in this conversation. You have not lived life enough. No. You especially don't dog out your mom, who, let's be fucking frank, if your mom had not hooked up with Leon and you got this amazing genetics lottery
you wouldn't
winning,
be doing what you're doing.
You would not be a fucking beauty influencer, and you would not have the means to just be able to do that instead of going to college and getting, a different type of job. You owe this woman a lot.
100% she does. And I think even if that's not the case, it's just not her place. You know what I mean? Just know when it's not your conversation. It's not even that she's a kid, although she is a kid, but it's this is nothing to do with you.
Right.
Mal keeps quiet. Mal's
and Mal should have more to say about it.
100%.
She could say,
says, look, I have a relationship, but she doesn't get involved in what the right thing to do is. She knows this isn't about her, and this is just the immaturity of Noelle. But I tell you what, if I was Cynthia, I'd be taking Noelle out and having a word with her about boundaries and fucking respecting your elders and minding your own fucking business.
Hell yeah.
That shit is free.
Yeah.
It's free. Mind your own fucking business costs you nothing.
Exactly. Or you know what? Just sit there and be supportive and about to be like, shit, this is a really tricky situation. Yeah. I feel bad for you both. Because that's what it is. It's a shit situation for both of those people. That's what divorced kids do. Noelle, take notes. You sit the fence.
Yeah. really comfy.
Recognize
get yourself a cushion.
Exactly. You recognize the situation maybe a little bit more than you can comprehend, or that you've lived through that you have no idea about. You just fucking sit there quietly and support everybody. Not hard.
Nope. She will learn. She will learn.
We'll see.
We will see. Let's move on to Below Deck, where Rachel is still causing chaos.
You know what, though? Thank God she is, because what else would we be talking about? Let's be frank. Like, this is like the blandest crew ever.
She is making up for the lack of personality among every fucking crew member. It
really is.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but like, we've said it before. Like, I kind of want coronavirus to come along, like just to spice some shit up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think if I mean, at least we've got some spiciness with James and Elizabeth. We've got crazy drunk Rachel, who makes the most phenomenal food on the planet. So,
well, she's essentially a super high functioning alcoholic. I was explaining this to Jimmy. He sort of saw one of her like rants and raves, and I was like, so this is what she's doing, and blah blah. He's like, so essentially, she's just a really super high functioning alcoholic. I was like, oh yeah, like that's literally exactly what she is. And it's really interesting because she cooks really, really well, and then as soon as she stops cooking, she drinks until she has to cook again. And it's dark.
Well, yes and no, though, because she's not drinking like during the charter either.
No, but that's what it means. So that can be a super high functioning alcoholic can be that they are able to be sober when they need to be, but as soon as they don't need to be, they are like fucking the worst kind of drunk alcoholic all the time. Like, whenever they don't have to be sober, they are drunk.
Interesting. That is not my experience with super high functioning alcoholics, but that's interesting.
But anyway, the point is she's causing serious ruckuses because she decides during this dinner to really just lay into James for reasons that I am still really struggling to comprehend.
I think in her mind, because like she explained it the last time, like in her mind, he's hit on everybody. So he's just landed on Elizabeth because she said yes. Like, this is the story in her head. James has tried it with everybody. Everybody's turned him down other than her. And she likes her too much to let her be that girl, if that makes sense. I think that's the story that's in her head. It's not fucking reality. That's not actually what has happened. But I feel like that's where Rachel is coming from. Like, I feel in her heart she thinks she's coming from a good place, but she doesn't know the story.
Well, yeah, and I feel like she's kind of living in this fantasy world because as far as she's concerned, all I have seen of James is like help her with the dishes, offer to help, like take out the trash. Like, as far as she's concerned, I feel like she's just made up this story about James. Yeah. And decided that it's real. Like, I get it. I think he's the banter guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. And I think you can tell that. But she's just, I don't know. I don't know.
You would think Rachel could tell that. Because, I mean, we had a whole cast of disgusting dudes last season. Pretty fucking obvious that James is not one of those guys.
Yeah.
She's been in the industry for like 15, 20. I mean, she's been in the industry for a long time. So you think that her spidey sense would be more in tune, but it could be drunk.
Yeah, and I mean, she's definitely seen 100%. She has seen more despicable human beings than men than James. Yeah. So, like, I don't get it. Anyway, this is how she feels, and she lays into him. And I think with Grace, he takes this like a fucking champ because he doesn't. He just asks politely if they could stop talking about him. And then when he's done, he gets up and he walks away to go to the bathroom. He does not fight back. Like, I cannot imagine the strength that must have taken.
Yeah.
And then he gets back to find that Elizabeth and Rachel are off having a cozy chat together and is pissed off.
Yeah. And I think rightly so. I mean, you and I were talking about this a little bit. And at first I was like, is he being a little harsh with her? Because I think like Elizabeth meant to take Rachel to the side and like have a word with her about talking about James, but that ended up not happening. And then I kind of went back to not liking Elizabeth very much anyways. And it's my up and down with Elizabeth in this episode.
No, I hear you. And I agree. I think I would have expected somebody I was dating to stand, like, to turn around and say at the table while it was happening, no, this is not okay. Shut up. He's a nice guy. Rachel, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
I was like, I'm with James. And I think it's interesting to see it in that way, because often we see this "you didn't stick up for me" thing with the girl getting at the boy.
Sure.
And I think it's really interesting to see it the other way around, because, you know, we have to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we all want equality, we got to stand up for each other when people are being dickheads, especially drunken dickheads. Like, come on.
But also scary drunk. Like, Rachel is a scary drunk. Like, I wouldn't want to be around her.
I don't find her scary as just fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she's gonna harm anybody. I don't think she's gonna harm herself. Like, she's not like Ashton punching windows. That's fucking scary to me. Like, I don't like that. She's not ragey. She's not ragey in a physical way. Like, I'd probably be worried that she would talk shit to me, but I would just talk shit back to her.
I think that's what I mean. I find her, like, emotionally volatile. I feel like I couldn't relax around her when she's like that. I'd be like, we're gonna have to either watch her, or we have to watch our own backs, or somebody, we have to just.
I'd probably just go eat at a different table. I'd probably stop hanging out with her. I'd stop going, like, I would. I'd be like, why don't you could sit here? Like, we're done. We're done with.
I hear you.
And we see how her behavior has super triggered Captain Lee in about, like, the passing of his son last year, which I thought was really
sad.
It was a really sad, but I think it was a tender growth moment between him and Francesca, because I definitely feel he's missed having Kate.
I wrote exactly the same thing. I was like,
missed having his person there.
Yeah, I think he sort of made a decision that he likes chess, like he likes her, and this was kind of the beginning of him starting to create a bond with her that he got with Kate. Like, you know, he likes to keep great stuff, and I think once he decided he likes her, he's like, okay, I'm going to open up a little bit and have a real moment. And it was really touching, and I can't even imagine how hard it must be to go through something like that, but then also to see all those just photos of hot Captain Lee.
Oh yeah. And
just like the naked little butts and the tan light, you know, all of that.
Fucking 80s and 90s parenting right there in those pictures, man.
It just made me feel like, God, that could be my kid. And then she gets to 36 and dies of an overdose. Like, how the fuck do you not? Oh, it just broke my heart.
I believe it's like an opioid addiction as well, which is just fucking terrible. I mean, it's terrible anyways, but I feel like it's kind of a terrible U.S. issue that we've got going on at the moment, and it's all like stemming
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's all stemming from like pain medication and doctors prescribing, and then kids getting hooked, and like it's just a fucking downward spiral from there, and it's scary as shit.
Did you watch a documentary? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like a Netflix documentary about this father who. I do. It's called The Pharmacist. And
yes,
his dad and this kid was killed, and it led him to this kind of oxy drug ring that doctors were facilitating and making a fucking shit ton of money. Anyway, it's really good. If you haven't watched The Pharmacist, watch it. It's a good one.
No. I mean, it's a huge issue. Like, even Grey's Anatomy did a whole, like, season storyline on the opioid addiction with, you know, that kind of stuff.
I'm still hunting for a place to watch season 17.
Maybe I'll have to give you my codes.
I think it's next month.
It's also real spotty, so you're not really missing all that much. But anyways.
And then illness. We've got everybody's coming down with the sickness. We've got Aisling, who's sitting through the eye of a needle, as is Rachel. I thought that Rachel was just suffering from grog fog, but you're more sympathetic to her and think she might actually be sick.
Well, I feel like if she was the only one, I would think that was it. But I feel like because Aisling has something too, like that there must be like some food related something from the beach club or whatever. And then, but you know, they're both powering through and working through it. But Elizabeth can't get up on time because she has a UTI.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit more sympathetic towards Elizabeth on this, only because my experience of UTIs is so fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
But she doesn't seem to be suffering that badly. Like, she does get up and she's
Just
like,
slept in.
Yeah. I think if you, like, I can't get out of bed when I've got
Right.
UTI. Like, I can't even walk upright. It's horrendous. So
Yeah.
I think she is maybe laying on a little thick.
I think she's milking it a little bit. And that's my point. Like, if she was, like, literally in bed on the phone to Francesca and, like, I'm in so much pain, I can't get out of bed. Can you call a doctor for me? I think I've got a raging UTI. Like, I can't move. I would have way more sympathy than someone who, like, just sleeps in a couple hours and pops up and like, oh, thanks for calling the doctor.
Well, and also, let's not forget that Izzy has just got back from the doctor to discover that she's got double kidney infection, a UTI, and strep throat, and has worked all the way through, apart from, like, being sent down to sleep. So
yeah,
now that I've remembered that, I'm like,
right.
Fuck's sake, Elizabeth, just fucking get up and do your job.
Well, and like you said, like, if she physically couldn't get out of bed, that's a completely different story. But that's not what happened. She just, like, slept in a couple hours and then was like, oh, thanks for calling the doctor. I'll go do my job now.
Yeah, well, she's got that UTI, though, don't you?
Yeah. That's what happens in a hot tub. What manky cuddles do to you.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have the sex after the hot tub. And you don't wee. Got to wee before and after sex. All the time.
Always.
Okay, well, listen, let's see how it goes. You know, I still enjoy watching Below Deck, I have to say.
You know what? I do too. Like, for me, like, Atlanta's more of a slog than Below Deck, even though slightly more things are happening on Atlanta. What I am excited about is Below Deck Sailing Yacht starts in March, so that is definitely coming back. So that'll be exciting. We'll have double Below Decks for a little while, which is always fun.
I'm here for that for sure. But for now, let's move on to Dallas, where, again, maybe it was just a slow week. I felt this was kind of a slow week as well.
I just don't care about Carrie's 50th birthday.
I don't really care. I know that they've got to create content for this fucking show, but I sort of feel like if we're in the middle of a pandemic, let's not spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on a party in a massive garden for 5 people.
Well, I mean, I think, like, we've talked about this with other shows. Like, sometimes it can just come off as a little tone deaf. I think we called the OC out on that at the beginning of the season. And it's just like, dude, people are losing their fucking jobs and their minds because they're trapped inside all the time. And you're flouncing around throwing fucking gardening parties. Like,
I know. Standing on tables and being, like, bathed in champagne by hot. I mean, like, I get it. It's your 50th, and I understand.
Hey, as 2 people who are having their 40th birthdays this year, we fucking know how much all we want to do is party like we're fucking 21. But it just can't happen.
Well, my friend is turning 40 at the end of August. She's like, listen, I have taken the plunge. I have booked the rooftop at the Ned, which is, like, the fanciest hotel in London town. She's like, it is all out. We are big dresses. Like, she's got this amazing taffeta full length. She's like, we're fucking on it. I was like, this is the most optimistic thing I have ever heard, but I am here for it. So I am buying dresses and fucking training up for a night because I'll be out of practice.
Yeah, you'd better start practicing now. But are you planning your own 40th?
I really want to do a big fucking party.
Yeah.
And I just don't know whether, I never throw myself a birthday party. Like, I just don't. Occasionally I'll have people over, but I feel like 40 is the party to go, right, I'm going to fucking spend some money and throw a party.
Yeah,
and I do feel like July, we're going to be further out of this. I just don't know how far we're going to be. I don't know whether we're going to be my 40th far.
I don't know. I feel like, as far as us celebrating our 40th birthdays, that's not going to happen this year. I don't think international travel is going to come back up. I just don't. I wish it did, but I just don't see it happening. So for my 40th, like, I'm saving some of my 40th celebration for a big thing that we can do family-wise in a couple of years. But I did book a table. There's this really awesome restaurant here in Denver called Linger, and they're doing these, like, pods on the roof. These, like, plastic pods. My birthday's in March, so it's still, like, snowy here. So we're going to go out to eat with another couple. in one of those pods because you have to book them like months in advance. So I booked it, and we'll
That'd
just
be
do
super
that.
cool.
Yeah. And
I
then
think
for
that'd be amazing.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be
I don't
good, but
know
it won't be as fun as what
Won't be
you and
even
I had
nearly as
originally
fun.
planned. We'll just have to do that later. We'll just save the
This
money.
is just a year of broken fucking dreams. I'm over it. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, back to 50th birthday party. So I understand what she wanted and why she wanted it. I don't know.
I'm
It's
the
just
same.
not the time.
No, it feels
Too
awkward.
soon.
But before we go in deep on the party, let's talk about that interesting conversation that Stephanie and Travis had. Stephanie is still probably one of my favorite housewives out of the whole of the housewives.
Hands down.
In the world. I love her.
Yeah.
And I really related to this conversation that she had with Travis because, like, obviously she's started this foundation where she is getting Travis's company to remodel high school, like underprivileged high school locker rooms, which I think is a great idea. Travis is kind of giving her shit for it. I can't hate Travis. Even though I know he's being a dick, I sort of feel that there is always something a little tongue-in-cheek with him. Like, I don't think he is a dick. No. I think he just likes to push the fucking buttons.
He likes to wind her up. I think it's their sexy foreplay.
I do too. And I think this is fact.
Yeah.
But I do really appreciate her chat about, like, the kids are now in school. I want to do something for me.
For sure.
I mean, I think how many of us can relate to that, right?
Every single one of us whose kids are finally either going to both be in school or, you know, are maybe getting to like your 40s. I mean, that's what I think we've talked about it for different episodes. Like, you have to kind of refine yourself at like all these like big transitional times. We're youngest, when your kids are fine and they're like doing their thing, it really, like, for women who stay home, it's like, fuck, where have I been? Like, you've been so invested in like getting to these milestones that you're like, shit, I'm not even that girl anymore. Like, I got to figure this shit out again. And I mean, I think we talked about it when we were talking about with Wendy on Potomac, like just kind of reevaluating your life and really thinking about what you want to do because you put yourself last for so long.
No, it's a real thing, and I think it's something that some guys kind of balk at when they hear it first because they panic that their status quo is going to be really disrupted. And obviously, this was kind of a discussion that they were having. And you know, the fact is that just because something's going to change doesn't mean it's going to be worse. And I think I'm really excited to see what Stephanie does because I love that she was a social worker. I know that whatever she chooses to do will be about doing something good.
That's what she's always about. She's always about that. Like when she was struggling with depression, she's very open about it, talking about it, wanting to help people. Like, she's just a badass. Like, she just wants to be friends and have a good time. Like, that's really it. Like, that's her agenda for the show. And I wish we had more housewives who were that way.
Yeah.
Who were like, this is fun. It's not, you know, some things are serious. And when they are serious, we can talk about it. But let's just have a good time and get along and do something good with our platform. Because I think that's what she's all about.
And she's also got a wicked sense of humor. You know, Portia's the same on Atlanta. Like, Portia's sense of humor is fire. Like, when she tells Cynthia, you need to use your coochie credit, like, I'm howling with laughter. And Stephanie's the same. She's got this, like, you know, I posted it on Instagram. She's like, I'd rather eat Travis's butthole than that chicken foot. But anyway, we digress. I think it's interesting. I can't wait to see her grow a little bit. Talking of chicken feet, should we go back into the party?
Oh, God. I don't know where Cam fucking gets off telling people what's right about their own fucking culture. The lady who eats like a toddler.
I was like flabbergasted at this, and I think it's just, this is when I know that Cameron isn't putting on an act. Like, she really is occasionally this stupid, and I don't use that word lightly, but there are times when I'm like, Cameron, this is, unless you physically cannot compute this, you have to be operating at an IQ level a bit like fucking down here, because it's not okay to tell a Chinese person what is culturally relevant to them and what isn't.
No, it's not your fucking place. You don't
And
want to
then
eat
to
the
say
chicken
that
foot fine. Like, she wasn't stuffing it in your mouth. Like, she wasn't pouring. Like, I mean, if we look at Carrie, pouring alcohol into people's mouths and forcing them to drink was not what Tiffany was doing with the chicken foot. She just
No,
wanted
and
to try it.
Cam's like, I was grossed out. I mean, if I cooked a meal and somebody went, I was grossed out by that, I'd be like, fuck you 6 times over.
Yeah, you can leave.
Like, fine.
Or be a grown up and just be like, you know what? I really don't want to try it, but thank you anyways. Like,
Yeah.
where are your fucking Southern manners now, Cam? You're all hung up about the centerpiece, but you were a dick.
She was a dick. She was a dick. And
being a dick.
And the thing is, even if she did have kind of a point that, like, she felt really pressured and I guess alienated, like, eat the foot. Even if she did have a point, which I think she actually did a little bit,
yeah,
she just completely undermines it with everything else.
For sure. She drives me insane.
She drives me insane as well. I would just like, before we move on from Dallas, to chat a little bit about Tiffany, because again, I really like her. I liked the way in this episode she was like, I know I could do with loosening up a little bit, and she's really trying to kind of, I guess, you know, cut off the chains of her kind of upbringing and like really try and enjoy herself a little bit more. I'm surprised she takes being thrown in the pool so calmly when she can't swim.
Yeah, especially like being hammered too. I think I would have freaked out.
And this is Carrie. She's just too fucking much. And I did understand, like, I understood what Carrie said when she's like, when I'm doing that, that's me saying I want you to be included in the fun and I'm including you. And I can get that if that's how you operate. But you have to recognize that that's not how everybody operates.
Right. It doesn't give you, like, carte blanche to, like, run over everybody else's boundaries. Or safety.
Yeah.
I looked at it more like, also, like, this is kind of Carrie's culture. Like, this is how she has a good time. So, like, Tiffany was trying to get in on that. Like, fine, you know what? I need to be a little bit more like that. I'm just going to embrace it. And, like, I love that about her. Instead of bitching about, like, somebody trying to make you try a food that maybe you didn't want to try, she just fucking put her big girl pants on and had a good time.
And she took those tequila shots she didn't want to drink like a champ. Like, because she thought, you know, maybe this is going to be fun. And she still got up the next fucking day and went and saved some fucking lives. So,
well, this what I was going to say. Like, she had a big fucking point. Like, none of those other ladies, as much as I love them all, and they all have different things that they have to do, have to get up and be in charge of someone's fucking anesthesia for surgery the next day. I don't want my anesthesiologist fucking hungover. They're the people who watch you breathe when you're underneath. You know?
They keep you alive when you're, like, basically being cut apart. Like, you want them on the ball. 100%.
I want them sharp and focused. I don't want them fucking hungover.
I want them smelling of fucking Don Juan 1942. That's not Don Julio 1492.
Right.
That's not what you're looking for. Yes, I like her. She's a good addition. I'm excited because I think she's going to put the cat amongst the fucking pigeons, and I can't wait to see those fireworks. Talking of fireworks, Salt Lake City. That's a very resigned sigh. I mean...
Well, because I feel like I just want to get right into Jen, and I think that kind of dominates everything. But maybe we should talk about other things first, and then have just an all-encompassing Jen chat.
Well, let's talk about Heather's date that Jen sets up. Let's get a little bit of that in.
Like, Jen, have you ever met Heather? Like...
Or Big Daddy? Like...
Yeah, this guy was not the guy for her.
He ordered a Shirley Temple. Like... Of all the non-alcoholic drinks to order, like...
For sure, because Sharif doesn't drink either, because they're Muslim, which is fine. And maybe Big Daddy is as well. I don't know. But, like, Heather wants somebody who will drink and have a good time with her. Like, Jen, you know this about her. Like, how long... Like, I know this about Heather, and I've known her, like, fucking 4 weeks. Like, how good of friends are you?
I could definitely have done a better job setting Heather up on a date.
For sure.
With Big Daddy. Sweet as he was, he spent an hour and 15 minutes talking about, I mean, I would, and Jen's line at the end where she's like, thanks, Jen, for inviting me to this sober TED Talk, was just fucking brilliant.
She's so spot on. I loved it.
She's so spot on.
Yeah, that date was a huge bust, though. Like, come on.
I mean, it was even awful to watch. I mean, it's awful to watch. I can only imagine how tedious it must have been to actually be there.
I mean, I felt that talk went on a long time, and we were only there for like 3 seconds of it.
Yeah, we literally got the fucking time hop. They had to sit through the whole thing.
Jesus.
Whitney decides to take the girls to Vegas. And this, again, is never as straightforward as you would imagine.
I don't understand why Lisa could not just fucking RSVP and say, you know what, I'm already going to be there, so I'll meet you guys there.
Because she's a petty cow.
Well, it had to be.
And Meredith, and
not that deep.
Somebody invites me to Vegas. Fucking invite Meredith to Vegas. She's like, it's not really my thing, but I think I can make it. I'd be like, don't bother, babe. You know what?
We don't want you there anyways.
Don't bother.
If drinking with your girlfriends and having a good time is not your thing, I don't think you should come.
Don't do me a fucking favor.
No.
Stay home with your weird son who fucking wanks over you at nighttime and then wants to stab you to death in the morning. Like, don't get me. You know that's happening. You know there's some fucking Oedipus shit going on there. That's why he's gay. He's gay because the only woman he would ever love and have sex with is his mom.
Oh, which is not hot. Like, dudes don't like that. No,
Probably.
I think...
No. I'm right, though.
You are right.
Where's the lie?
It's not sexy, dude. It's not sexy. It's really
I
gross.
Swear, he's going to be a fucking documentary on Netflix soon. One of those true crime. It was.
And you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Family lived a life of luxury in Salt Lake City, only to find their life was turned upside down when their psycho vegan fucking designer spoiled brat son stabbed them all to death in their sleep.
It's so weird because, like, on her social media, and they're so fucking normal. It's just like, what the fuck happened to you?
It's like he's not right in the head. Like, there's something, something that needs to be fucking diagnosed there, and that it's probably psychopathy.
Or,
anyway.
You know what? Maybe he just needs to go back to fucking school and grow up some more.
Yeah. Maybe
and not
needs a
take
good
time off to do a reality show.
Yeah. Maybe just go and just get off my TV. I cannot bear. Anyway, Meredith drags herself to Vegas.
Oh, yes.
Joy in her heart and a smile on her fucking face.
Damn!
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm fucking over the whining witches, fucking twins, Lisa and Meredith.
Yeah.
Whitney's only trying to do a nice thing. Like, Whitney's only trying to do a fun thing.
Well, you know, anyway. Like, the only person that is going along on this trip with, like, fun in their heart is fucking Heather. And part of me feels like, why didn't Whitney and Heather just go to Vegas and have a good time together? Because even Jen is like, oh, well, I'm only going to go if I'm, like, the CEO of fun. And, like, plans this whole thing and doesn't even tell Whitney.
I cannot with Jen. Like,
I've tried. I
can totally get on board with divas. I love over-the-top people.
Yes.
Loud, obnoxious people. I can get on board. Like, they can be fun.
Yeah, you're our people.
What I cannot get on board with is when they have a fucking 5-year-old trapped in their body.
Yeah.
Like, the childishness that Jen displays is off the scale. It makes my fucking 4-year-old look like Kofi Annan. Like, it is batshit crazy how immature and inconsistent and emotionally volatile she is.
She's a mess. She's a fucking hot mess that needs a lot more therapy. Like, there is shit there that she needs to fucking deal with. Because, like, so let's just start. Like, planning the thing for Heather, I actually think was a good thing because Whitney needed time alone with the boring witchy twins, right? So they had to have that conversation to make everything okay. So that ended up working out. But while they're shopping, she fucking goes off about Whitney again. And it's like, Jesus Christ, woman. You already told Whitney that you accepted her apology and you were moving on. If you say that, you have to fucking do it.
We saw this with Mary. They had to come to Jesus chat about the fucking hospital smells. She said she was sorry. They all moved on. And then it turns out it doesn't fucking count for anything and Jen's just seething and to this day doesn't talk to Mary. And it's like, And Whitney's not going to come back from this. Like, I think this is Whitney's on the out, and Jen is going to fucking make her pay for it. What I do think, though, I think Whitney will give her a harder time for it. Like, I think Whitney's going to stand up more to her. Rather than disappear like Mary's done.
For sure. What I did like was that Heather did stand up to Jen and was like, so Whitney made you throw the glass? Like, your shit is not consistent.
No.
Like, Whitney already apologized for what she did. Like, come on. And stop making Heather feel fucking bad. Like, you're not part of the mafia. You're fucking ladies in Salt Lake City. Like, come the fuck on.
It drives me insane. And Heather's absolutely right. She wants a henchman. And this idea of, like, friendship being blind loyalty, no matter what, you stand up for me, is just, we've talked about it so many fucking
it's not
times.
Cool. It's not the way
friendship.
it works.
It's not cool. It's fucking bullying. It's insecure. It's controlling, narcissistic bullshit. And Jen is, like, when I saw her do it with Mary, I was like, that's fucking weird. Now I'm like, oh, okay, this is Jen.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Over and out.
Not interested.
Not even a little bit.
Because it's not even entertaining. Like, it's just fucking gross.
It is, and I feel for Heather, and it's like, and I think Heather's going to get sick of it. Like, I think Heather sees what's happening.
Yeah.
She's meek and mild, but I think that she will get to a point where she's like, this is not cool. Like, it's just not cool.
No. Well, because it'll happen to her too. I mean, that's what you get with someone like Jen. Like, there is no reason that she's on the outs with these people. She has fabricated these fucking situations that may have a tiny bit of truth, but the majority of them are blown way out of proportion. So you know what? Nobody's safe. Nobody is safe as her friend. She could go off on everybody at a moment's notice.
Well, and in the previews we see that, because we see them go and see some, I don't know, vagina whisperer, and she asks the question, who doesn't trust Jen? And everybody puts their hand up. So if this shit doesn't act as a wake-up call for her, then I don't know what's going to. But I do think it's going to get spicy, and I'm always here for a little bit of spicy television.
Fuck, yeah. And just, like, her take that nosedive off the bar as well. That shoe fell apart.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That was like...
Like, Heather saved your fucking life, and then you're going to scream at her? Fuck you. Not cool.
Also, babe, you've just fallen off a fucking bar. Like, your life is not... Your reputation is not that intact right now.
Actually, I think this is your reputation. So, like, you're on brand. Fine.
Yeah, but let's not be calling out other people's reputations.
Right.
Until we get our own fucking correct. Let's wrap this up with Southern Charm. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning. Before we get onto the Catherine stuff, let's talk about Madison and Austin.
Madison, this message is for you. We have been solidly Team Madison for this entire season. We have had your back. We have supported your choices. We have been Team Madison all the way. And you fucking made us agree with Austin in this last episode. How dare you, woman?
I've ended up Team Austin. Throughout this whole season.
What the fuck happened?
She is. I don't know. She's one of, people are like, they have these psycho exes.
Yeah.
And you're like, but then why were they with them in the first place? This is why, right? Because Madison was adorable, gorgeous, mature, kind, caring,
thoughtful, humble, ambitious,
committed.
Yes.
Really
all the good stuff.
And now she is literally a psycho ex. She's just literally a psycho ex.
She was fucking horrible.
And here's what makes me really mad, because I hate that she's a psycho ex.
Yeah.
You're like, stop
being an asshole.
women that. Like,
stop it.
But there really isn't. Like, this is the reason people have the leverage to call women this, because some women behave like Madison.
Ugh. It's just awful.
Austin.
And it wasn't just awful to Austin. She was awful to, like, everybody.
Awful. And she's, like, thinking so fucking highly of herself. Like, look how fucking hot I am. And that kind of arrogance is not attractive at all.
No.
Even Pringle doesn't seem that enamored anymore.
No.
And I don't blame him. This makes me you ask me now who I'd rather go out and drink with, Austin over Madison.
For sure.
Any day of the week.
I think what pissed me off is I feel like she became the person that like Shep and everybody was talking about her as being last season. And I was like, no, she can't be like that. Like, whatever. But oh my God.
She's proved them all right. And
girlfriend.
I'm honestly flabbergasted that this is I've got to the end of the season and the person that I cannot stand is Madison.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think her and Catherine are kind of a tie for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But
yeah. Yeah, it's none of the dudes. 100% should be. But
I feel like she's got a little big for her boots. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether this is the first season she's an actual cast member.
It is.
And I think maybe there does seem to be this real arrogance or sense of self-importance about her that I haven't seen before.
Like it is only in like I think it ties back to them bringing out the worst in each other, because I feel like Austin kind of did the same thing at her party. Like he became the psycho ex and was like showing up when he said he wasn't going to and kind of being a dick about it. She just did the exact same thing. I mean, she was invited to this party, but I feel like they bring out something vile in each other. And I think Greg is right that they just need to fucking leave each other. Like they just need to go and be apart and not talk and not be friends because they can't. Because this is not comfortable for anybody. They've ruined the entire party.
I cannot imagine breaking up with somebody and then spending the next few weeks screaming at them for sleeping with other people. Like, obviously, I mean, I've broken up with people, and then I've heard that they've slept with other people. I didn't go over to their house and fucking scream at them. I got into bed with a fucking tub of ice cream and sleepless in Seattle and cried and drank a bottle of wine and then woke up and went and shagged somebody myself. Like, that's how you deal with this shit.
Right. Yeah, that's how grown-ups deal with it.
Yeah. They eat and drink themselves
self-harm
and have a one-night stand.
Exactly. And you know what? She could have done that. She could have been super cool at the party and had sex with John Pringle that night. You know she could have.
And
that's all she had to do.
Austin doesn't give a shit. He's like, Pringle, you do you, babe. You have her. That's how you've been, Madison. That's how awful you've been. Austin wants you now to shag Pringle.
Right.
But now I don't want Pringle to shag you because he's too good for you. When he's cried about his babies.
Yeah. I saw the preview for the reunion, and there are definitely some not nice things said about like his parenting choices, which I know is going to just fire us right up. So I'm looking forward to this reunion.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up though, because we've got the Catherine chat to have.
Yeah.
I feel like this was an episode where Danny, who is, I think, to a certain extent, the Catherine whisperer,
she 100%
finally gets Catherine in the right place at the right time, in the right emotional mood, and we start to see a different approach from Catherine.
Yeah.
Until fucking Madison comes in and ruins that shit as well.
For sure. Like they needed 5 more minutes, and Danny could have gotten Catherine there, and it would have been a completely different end to the party. I still think Catherine did better after having the chat with Danny, because I do think I think Catherine has a lot of respect for Danny. Honestly, I do. I think she respects Danny. I think she does respect their friendship. I think she's young and immature and doesn't know how to handle shit when it goes wrong. Like she just doesn't. But I think Danny does know how to talk some sense into her. I'm glad she sat down and started to listen. But I think in the reunion, we're going to have a very different Catherine. Like, I don't think this conversation will have made any difference.
We always have had that with her. When she comes to the reunion, she is defensive as fuck. She comes in hot. And it's just a real shame because you see some real fucking glimpses of brilliance from Catherine.
Yes.
And yet, every time she lets herself down because she gets all fucking feisty. But at least in this instance, she listened. And I thought it was really interesting when Lever said, listen, none of us owe you this conversation, but we care enough about you to come to this table. And, you know, at least Catherine starts to ask the right questions. She's like, okay, what can I do? Like, what do I do? And they're like, you do the work.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, you know.
I don't think she really understands. And I sometimes feel like, obviously, guys, she needs a little bit more guidance. Like, you know what? Read these books. Read these books and then come talk to me. Or watch this documentary. Or, like, I think she's someone you have to give concrete things to do. Because I think just telling her to do the work, she doesn't know what the fuck the work is.
No, and I agree. And I'm not.
But it's not their
way.
Yeah,
excusing her or even praising her for how she handles this. All I'm saying is that I think in this particular instance, she's less of a cunt than she was before. Excuse my language. But we'll see. I did think it was interesting the chat she had with Madison at the table, because I didn't realize that she had known Caleb for a long time. And all of a sudden started to say to him. That did make me think it was more suspicious. But now we find out that they're sort of
they're still together. So I don't know. I go back and forth with her. I just don't know.
I don't know. But the reunion will definitely shed some light on this. And I am excited about this reunion.
It's going to be spicy. It is going to be 2 episodes. So we'll probably have that done in 3 weeks. And it will be a mini-sode. So, I mean, because I definitely think we're doing a mini-sode on that one. I know we've sometimes not done mini-sodes, but it's basically on shows that we don't feel we gained anything by watching the reunion, so we've dropped it.
Yeah, true. And it's our podcast, so we can do what we want.
That's right.
Yeah, bitch. But on that note, we hope that you are all surviving. And if you're in the UK and in fucking lockdown and homeschooling and having to make the fucking shit decision about whether you earn money or, you know, prevent your kids from not learning anything, then let me tell you, hand on my fucking heart, I feel you. And I hope that this has brought even just an hour or so of joy or escapism for you.
Absolutely. To our listeners in the UK, your fucking US brethren are holding up a fist in solidarity with you, hoping to Christ that we don't lock down.
Well, and also here's the thing. We're good with that now because our US brethren is run by Biden and not by the fucking goblin that was Trump.
I can't even tell you how nice it has been to not like have the news be shit every day. The first thing in the morning. I've had a bit of a reprieve. It's been a week of some hope, and we'll see.
Did you see? I just fucking laughed. Melania got on that plane in like a black suit, like she was going to a funeral. She got off that plane in Florida in a fucking caftan, and you could tell she's heading straight for her divorce lawyer's office. She's like, I am late for my appointment.
I think so my mom has a theory. I know this is going to go on a little bit, but I'll share it with you. So my mom has a theory that when he became president, she renegotiated her her terms and conditions, her T's and C's were updated. So I don't think she'll divorce him, but I mean, you know, now they're retired in Florida, like so many other people in Florida.
I think, let's see, I 100% think she's going to divorce him, so we'll see.
Yeah, I will put money on the fact that she won't, but we'll see who's right in 20 years.
We'll put a pound on it. Pound on it.
I'll buy you a drink. You buy me a drink.
Places.
There you go.
Listen, have as good a week as you fucking can.
Absolutely.
Be gentle on yourself. Look after each other, and remember,
smart people watch reality TV too. Bye-bye.
Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates by Jimmy Sims.